As we know, the wide receiver position for the Pittsburgh Steelers is pretty thin for the second straight year. The Steelers are literally going into this season in the similar situation that they were in literally just last year, where they have a bona fide wide receiver 1 and not really a significant number 2. They just have a bunch of 3s, 3 and 4s playing the number 2.
And here we are talking about the wide receiver position for a second straight year heading into week 1.
Now, the difference is we have DK Metcalf instead of George Pickens, and Roman Wilson is healthy, and he will be playing week 1 versus the Jets. So that is, I guess, an improvement from last year, but they're still in the same situation. They don't have a, for sure, wide receiver 2. Could they have that? And Roman Wilson? Time will tell. I would like to think that, but we don't really know. There's still some uncertainty regarding Roman. He's going to get the opportunity. That is definitely going to be the case, at least for, I would say, the first couple weeks of the regular season, maybe all the way up to the trade deadline. Maybe it's a situation where we give Roman Wilson the keys to the kingdom here, see what he's made of, and if he doesn't show enough with A-Rod at quarterback, the Steelers are going to have to do what they did last year, where they desperately trade for somebody at the deadline. I hope Roman Wilson showcases enough, because the Steelers are going to need it, because they still have to trade for a wide receiver. Ideally, they would trade for a wide receiver or add a wide receiver in some form or fashion. I would think that trading for one is the more ideal situation, because there's a little more options out there in regards to trading for wide receiver compared to signing someone in the free agency pool.
Yeah, because once again, looking at the free agency pool, it still doesn't look the greatest.
In fact, options as of this moment aren't very great either. I think they should still add a wide receiver, but we don't know when that's going to happen, because we'll go down the list of trade candidates and free agency options. The options are very thin. There's not a lot of guys out there where the Steelers could literally trade or add someone whenever they needed to. So it's going to be a situation where they're going to ride with what they have now, and then hopefully they make a trade for somebody where that move will fix the position if a guy like Roman Wilson doesn't step up. But until that day comes, the options now aren't really entertaining. The options out there, I'll be real with you, in regards to the trade candidates, aren't realistic. Jacoby Myers, in my opinion, isn't realistic. I'm not going to get my hopes up because, yeah, he requested a trade from the Raiders. He wants a pay increase. He's coming to the last year of a 3-year, $33 million contract he signed with the Raiders a couple years back. He's making $11 million average a season. He's going to want a pay increase. He's going to want a new contract, as he deserves so, because Myers has been putting up very good numbers, very steady numbers as a wide receiver 2, or for the most part of his career, a wide receiver 1 with the Patriots, with the Raiders. He's coming off of a 1,000-yard season. He deserves a pay increase. He's going to get anywhere between 15 to 20 million, maybe more. But even though he requested a trade with the Raiders, he's still participating with them in practice. He's still at the facility. He is a consummate professional. He is doing what he has to do. He's participating in practice despite being upset that he's not getting a contract yet. That tells me that a deal will be coming for Myers, that he will be getting extended. The Raiders would be silly to not do that. So I don't think Myers is a realistic option. I'm not going to get my hopes up whatsoever.
No, just because he requested a trade doesn't exactly mean he wants out.
No.
Look back at the Terry McLaurin situation where he requested a trade out of Washington. In the end, he just wanted his money. He just wanted a big contract, and that's exactly what he got from the Commanders.
We know how these players work. We know what these players try to do when they request a trade.
And just looking at the situation with Terry McLaurin, I mean, for years he dealt with bad quarterback play and bad, coaching and whatnot. Now he's finally got a great head coach. He finally has a very good quarterback after a season to which the Commanders went all the way to an NFC Championship game. Why would Terry McLaurin want to leave that?
Why would he leave?
Just like Jacoby Myers, he's got a quarterback in Geno Smith. He's got a new head coach in Pete Carroll. Why would Pete Carroll and everybody around him, why would they trade away Jacoby Myers? Why would they trade away a top target away from Geno Smith after trading away a third for Geno Smith?
Right.
It just doesn't seem ideal.
Even though, yeah, they got Brock Bowers, they got Jack Bech they drafted, but I don't think Myers is leaving Las Vegas, folks. I don't believe that. So, yeah, it sounds great. And if there was a wide receiver, too, the Steelers could add, Myers would be that guy. I just don't think that's going to happen.
It's one of those I'll believe it when I see it scenarios.
Moving on. How about a Romeo Doubs? Just like Myers, I don't think that's realistic because Matt LaFleur said on the Up and Adams show that he's not going anywhere, that there will not be a departure regarding Romeo Doubs. There was talks that he could be cut or he could be traded, and he said, yeah, that will not happen. Yes, Romeo Doubs has some brief experience with Aaron Rodgers when Doubs had his rookie season in Green Bay in 2022. But that's the extent of the Doubs and Steelers connection.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah, the Packers have a pretty stacked wide receiver core. They drafted Matthew Golden and Savion Williams in the draft. They double-dipped a receiver. They have Jaden Reed. They got Doubs. They got Dontavian Wicks.
They got Christian Watson if he can stay healthy. I mean, that's a pretty loaded wide receiver room right there.
But, yeah, Doubs is coming to the last year of his rookie contract. But when the head coach says that he's not going anywhere, that's an indication that he's still a significant playmaker for that offense, for Jordan Love. So Romeo Doubs would also be a good option, but just like Myers, I don't think it's a realistic option. Alec Pierce, out of all the options here, this one might be a little more realistic, but at the same time, I don't know if the Colts are going to want to move on from Alec Pierce. Yes, the Colts are a disaster. They have Daniel Fleepin-Jones as their starting quarterback.
Yes, they do.
But when you have a guy like Alec Pierce who led the league in yards per catch with 22.3 yards per catch last year, he's always been a big playmaker from his Cincinnati days and ever since he stepped foot at Lucas Oil Stadium. He's always been a massive deep threat, strong hands. He's a big playmaker. The Colts have no one to replace that production. Yeah, they have A.D. Mitchell, but he hasn't proved anything yet.
No.
So they have no one to replace Pierce. Although Pierce is coming to the last year of his rookie contract, they don't know. The Colts don't know if they're going to keep him. They still got Michael Pittman as the one. They also drafted Tyler Warren in the first round. So they got options, but I still don't think they're going to move on from a guy like Alec Pierce.
No, but like you said, like based off the names that you list down with Jacoby Myers and Romeo Doubs, Pierce is probably the more likely candidate if you were to be traded because, I mean, the Colts, they have a solid room of targets. Michael Pittman, A.D. Mitchell. They still have Josh Downs, who's coming into his own. Tyler Warren, like you said, that they drafted. They still have a decent amount of targets that if they were to trade away Pierce, they still have guys that could step up and kind of, fill in for Pierce's departure. But considering what Pierce has done throughout his time with the Colts and the production that he's given, I don't know if the Colts are going to want to give that up.
I don't think so either. Juwan Jennings of the 49ers. This is another guy, like Myers, he requested a trade a while ago. He wants a new deal. He wants a pay increase. And I'm pretty sure he's going to get it because have you seen the 49ers wide receiver room lately? Brandon Ayuk is on the PUP list. We don't know when he's going to come back. They don't know when he's going to be brought back. They have Ricky Pearsall, first-round pick from last year, who is pretty much their healthiest wide receiver. Juwan Jennings is also sporting a calf injury from the start of training camp, and he hasn't practiced at all ever since, and that was back in late July. His availability for week 1 is also in question. So I don't think they're going to want to move on from Juwan Jennings, especially seeing the season he had last year.
Yeah, in fact, all the receiver injuries that they sustained, they sustained a lot of injuries last year, and they still are dealing with injuries.
Dude, their wide receiver room consists of Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Sky Moore, who they traded for, Jacob Cowing, and Jordan Watkins. Wow. And they signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling to the practice squad. Thank God, because we don't want no part of that.
No, not a fan of that. The only connection that he had with the Steelers was his time playing with A-Rod back in Green Bay. Outside of that, he's nothing but a one-trick pony. He has constant drop issues, and he doesn't even play special teams at that. Like there was really no purpose that MVS was gonna serve to the Steelers. I'm good on that.
No,
but Jennings, yeah, with all the injuries, he stepped up big time.
Yeah,
almost 1,000 yards, just shy of that last year.
Yeah,
and I don't know if the Niners are going to want to move on from that. Again, the injuries.
Well, actually, John Lynch said that the team has no intention on trading Jennings. He said, we're not doing that. And they've moved on from the entire situation. They're going to keep him. So Jawan Jennings, that would also be a solid move, but not realistic because they're not trading him. They're not. So the 49ers aren't shipping Jennings. The Packers aren't shipping Dobbs. The Raiders aren't shipping Myers. They have made it very known they don't want to move on. They are persistent at keeping him. And I don't think the Colts are going to move on from Alec Pierce. So all these trade candidates, as much of a move it would be to some guys, different levels, obviously, I don't think any of these are going to happen. I don't think any of these are that realistic. So the trade candidates as of now for the Steelers are non-existent. I couldn't tell you what wide receiver they could realistically trade for.
Yeah.
Like, realistically. I just don't think any of this is going to happen based off of what the front office of these respective teams have said.
Just, talking about it and breaking it down, it's not out the realm of possibility. The Steelers could just very well be aggressive and be like, listen, we really want a target. We want a true number 2. Here's our offer, get back at us. Omar Khan could finally be aggressive like he was with DK Metcalf and acquire a wide receiver. Not out the realm of possibility, but again, just like breaking it down, I don't know if either of those options that we've written down will happen. And outside of those options, who else could the Steelers look at potentially trading for a wide receiver? I couldn't tell you right off the bat.
Honestly, but that's the move they have to make. Because we'll get into the free agency options, and they're actually worse.
They're worse.
They're worse. It's so bad in the free agency pool for the Steelers.
Yeah.
The move they have to make at wide receiver is going to be them having to trade for somebody and making a move so significant that it's going to solidify the issue. But the options as of now, where we stand, a week and a half away from week 1, I don't find to be very realistic. And I'm not getting my hopes up on any of these names.
No, and like you said, if they're going to make a move at wide receiver, it's got to be a trade because based off their approach, the Steelers' approach for this season, and we talked about it all offseason, they are all in. They're not just going to go and pick up scraps from a scrap pile. And people were thrown out because, the waiver wire was just, a few hours ago. Many receivers were cut and they were put on the waiver wire. Receivers like Trey Palmer from the Buccaneers, though he was claimed by the Saints. Malachi Corley of the Jets third rounder just last year. He was released by the team. And the Steelers obviously showed interest in him last year. And of course, he played with A-Rod. So many people were putting the connection there. But absolutely not, especially based off the report that was released between the Jersey situation with Devontae Adams.
Well, that
Corley wanted a pay raise, and Corley didn't want to play special teams because he thought he wanted to be a starter. He thought he deserved to be a starter.
And I find it hilarious that a guy of that character early on in his career got claimed by the fucking Browns.
The Browns of all teams. Go figure. Ha ha. Ha ha.
The Browns are just claiming everybody, dude. I swear to God.
It's just it goes to show, the Steelers should not go out there and pick up scraps from a scrap pile. They shouldn't. You're going all in. You're going to go with that approach of trading for a wide receiver that's going to bring you some impact. That's going to fill that void. That's going to give you some production and be a productive receiver for A-Rod.
See, I agree. That's exactly what they have to do. But
because you're not going to go out there, not to interrupt you, you're not going to go out there and just gamble on another guy to fill the void and hope that he fills the void when you're already taking a chance on Roman Wilson. And that's the one guy that they should absolutely take a chance on because Roman has proved that he can stay healthy. He's building the chemistry with A-Rod throughout training camp. He was a top target in preseason, pretty much every game just weeks ago. The Steelers should be taking a chance at Roman Wilson because the guy has earned that. He stayed healthy. He's putting the work in. He's taking it day by day, and he's showing that, listen, I want this opportunity. And that's the one guy they should take a chance on. Nobody else.
Well, they have no choice because the trade candidates as of now, in my opinion, aren't realistic. And I don't know when they add a receiver and if they trade for one, I realistically don't know when that's going to happen. It's the move they need to make. I am all for giving a Roman the chance, and they're going to. In fact, I don't know if Omar Khan wants to trade for a wide receiver based on the fact he wants to keep as much capital for next year, knowing that they're going to trade up for a quarterback. Because I don't see the Steelers losing enough games where they don't have to trade up. They're going to have to trade up. And Omar Khan wants as much capital as possible. So maybe he doesn't want to trade for a wide receiver. Or if he does, he wants to trade as little as possible. Which, in that case, that's not happening. Unless a team is desperate enough to get rid of a receiver or a team is dumb enough to get rid of a receiver for so less. Omar Khan's done it before. In fact, he has fleeched teams based off of getting so much for so little. Look what he did with the Claypool trade. Look what he did with Kenny Flippin Pickett. We got Peyton Wilson out of it. We got JPJ out of those two trades alone, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know when a trade is going to happen. It needs to happen. I just don't know when. It's the move that needs to be made in regards to wide receiver position. But we don't know if or when that's going to happen. Otherwise, yeah, they're going to rely on Roman. They're going to rely on Calvin. And I like both guys. I like the potential of Roman Wilson, and I like Calvin in general. I think he's a trustworthy target. He's one of the few weapons on the offense that I have great faith in, because when Calvin gets the ball, good things normally happen. Look at last year.
Yeah.
When he was a deep threat, when he was used, in the yak ability, let him use his speed. Calvin's a good player. Is he a 2? No. Roman, to be determined. So I don't know if they're going to trade for someone. All I know is it probably won't happen now. Thus, they're going to settle for what they have. And if they do add a receiver anytime soon, it's going to have to be via the free agency options. And they are worse options than the trade candidates at the moment. And those trade candidates, I don't even think are realistic. The free agency options go as follows. Gabe Davis still at the number one spot. He was brought in for a second visit this summer with the Steelers just a little less than 2 weeks ago. He also visited with the Bills the day after that visit, and he's still unsigned. I don't know what's going on with Gabe Davis. I don't know if he's healthy enough to pass the physical. Obviously not, because I feel like if he's visiting the Steelers a second time and he's going back to the team that made him in the Bills and he's still unsigned, there's something wrong going on with his injury.
Something.
So I don't think he's healthy enough. But if that time ever comes, maybe he signs with the Steelers, and then that's the move they're going to make based off of how much interest the Steelers have in Gabe Davis. And you see what he's done with a quarterback like Josh Allen in the league. The Steelers are going to value that. Will that happen?
It depends on Gabe Davis's medicals. It depends if he's truly healthy, because the Steelers are not just going to hand out a contract to a man that's still hurt.
Well, that's why he hasn't been signed yet. But when that time comes...
If that time comes.
Well, we don't know when that could be. That could be week 2, week 3, week 4. I have no idea when he's going to get healthy. But if you're looking at these options and you're thinking, who will the Steelers or who could the Steelers bring in for wide receiver help? I still think Gabe Davis is the most realistic option, just based off of, what we've seen this summer.
And the interest. I mean, the Steelers obviously have interest in Gabe Davis. It's just, again, the medicals. They're just not clicking. The green check marks are not there yet.
Yeah.
When that is, if that is, yet it's to be determined.
But I find it very interesting that Gabe Davis was brought in for 2 visits, and the Steelers still opted to look towards Marquez Valdez-Scantlin's direction. It was either he go to the Niners practice squad or the Steelers practice squad. And, of course, he selected the Niners based off of how many injuries they have, and he could get some playing time.
Yeah.
So he chose that opportunity ahead of the Steelers, which is interesting that the Steelers looked in his direction more than Gabe Davis, which says a lot about Gabe Davis's health right now.
It does.
Moving on. Kendrick Bourne. He was just released by the Patriots. The Patriots badly need wide receiver help. Jalen Polk sucks, and he's on IR all year.
Yes, he is.
They just released 4th-round pick last year, Javon Baker, and they released Kendrick Bourne, who's been a vet for him for the past several years.
But Kendrick Bourne, he actually asked for his release. He requested to be released. And he's healthy. According to him, he's healthy and he's ready to go. He's ready to be signed up.
Well, he's fully healthy from the ACL injury that he suffered back in 2023. He only played 12 games last year, as he started on the PUP list and then was activated early October. Finished the season. He didn't really do much. Granted, the Patriots offense was really, really bad.
Yes.
It was very bad. The Patriots offense the past number of years has been dreadful. Like record low numbers. It's been unbelievably bad for the Patriots.
Especially the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's where Kendrick Bourne's production compared to his first year back in 2021, because he had 800 yards, or well over 800 yards in his first year.
Yeah, 800 yards exactly. That's a career high.
Yeah, it was a pretty productive year for Kendrick Bourne in his first year with New England, but the past 3 years, the Patriots offense hasn't been great, but there just hasn't been much production from Bourne at the same time.
No, there hasn't. And he's 30 years old at the moment. He hasn't done much the last number of years. So that makes me wonder, what's the difference between Kendrick Bourne and Robert Woods at the moment? Robert Woods was just brought back on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between the two? I don't think so.
Bourne's younger. That's it.
That's it. There's not much of a difference. And continuing on with the free agency list, you got Tyler Boyd, who's been a free agent all offseason.
It's a no from me.
I agree. In fact,
No.
last year, the Steelers had an offer on the table for him last offseason, and he elected to sign with the Titans instead and did nothing. And he'll be 31 in mid-November. No. Nelson Aguilar. No.
I hope to God that we do not sign a Nelson Aguilar. I would actually be very frustrated if the guy that we opt to bring in is Nelson Aguilar.
That would be a joke. Please no. Deontay Johnson.
All right, bro.
Come on, bro.
Okay. All right. Slow your roll there.
No.
All right. No.
No. What a bum. What a downfall. He was our number one for so many years. What the hell were we doing?
The Steelers squeezed any last bit of good left out of Deontay Johnson. He's been with what, 5 different teams now?
As far as I'm concerned.
In what? A year?
Let me see. Steelers, then they traded him to the Panthers, then he got traded to, I forget. I know he was a Raven at some point last year. Didn't he
was
go
a
to another
Raven.
team?
He went to the Texans, but then
I
there
thought
was
he
like
went to the
there was like
Texans.
a it was an after game situation where he was upset, he wasn't involved or whatever. He wasn't getting game action. Then the Texans released him, and the Browns gave him the opportunity while having Kenny Pickett at the same time, and now both of them are gone.
Yeah, wow.
Jesus.
Browns love our scraps, and they don't love him enough to keep him.
No.
Hunter Renfrow. No. What's
Does it end there?
That's the end of my list, because if I go any deeper, it gets worse. These options are unbearably bad. It is so dreadful. The Steelers should not be signing any of the cuts that we have seen the past number of days. They shouldn't be signing any really free agent in the market right now.
No.
Gabe Davis isn't healthy enough, and everyone below him is just desperate. They are 4 and 5s. Do we really need that? What's the difference between those guys and Robert Woods, or better yet, Scotty Miller? What are they going to offer to the team that Scotty Miller can't? So signing any of those guys would be pointless. It would just be like I don't know. It would just be desperation, I suppose.
Yeah, kind of like the Mike Williams situation. Though, to be fair with Mike Williams, he was never used.
No.
They never utilized him outside that Commanders game where he scored that touchdown. Outside of that, Mike Williams is basically a man on a milk carton.
But this goes to show you, wide receiver is thin in all areas. It's thin for the Steelers, and the options in every way you want to look outside the organization is very thin. There's no one in the trade scenario that, in my opinion, is realistic at the moment. And I don't know when a trade could happen for a receiver, despite it being the move that needs to happen, because if you look at these free agency options, I'm not looking at either of them. Gabe Davis, when he's healthy, I guess. He does nothing for me, but if you're going to sign a free agent, when he's healthy, I guess Dave Davis would be your best bet, but that's not saying much compared to the rest of this list. It's not. So, although a trade needs to happen, I don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah, really.
So
for the time being, when and if a trade does happen for the Steelers at wide receiver, until that point, let's go Roman Wilson.
We are going to go Roman Wilson.
Let's see what he can do. You know, this is a huge opportunity. Him coming into a second year after only playing 5 snaps in his rookie season before going down with an injury. He stayed healthy. He's put the work in. He showcased what he can do in the preseason. He's built that chemistry with A-Rod in training camp. Let's see what he can do throughout the regular season, man.
Yeah, Omar Khan set up the team. He likes it in a lot of aspects, and that includes wide receiver. They drafted Roman in the 3rd round out of Michigan last year. He didn't play, like Rob mentioned, he didn't play essentially all his rookie season. He's getting the chance now, as he should. It's fair. You spent draft capital on him. You spent a day 2 selection on him. He's healthy. He's ready to go.
I should note that primarily in training camp and preseason, he played outside reps.
He did. So, in my opinion, on the depth chart, whenever they release it, he will be the number 2. It won't be Calvin. It'll be Roman Wilson as the 2 with Calvin playing slot. But you also run the concern of having only 5 wide receivers and legitimately only 3 of them being serious targets. DK, Roman, and Calvin. God forbid, knock on wood, DK gets hurt, we're screwed. We're so screwed. At least, knock on wood, Calvin re-aggravates his injury. You can insert Scotty in the slot. You'll be just fine there. The Steelers have 3 really good tight ends that they could throw the ball to.
Yeah. But as far as having a backup plan for wide receiver 1,
there is no backup plan.
Who is that at this moment?
The backup plan is running the football.
Going to have to be.
The backup plan is controlling the clock on the offense, but can they stay on the field more than 3 seconds? I don't know. Guess we're going to find out real soon, won't we? Wide receiver is very thin for the Steelers, man. It's a massive concern, and the move they have to make will be them trading for someone, and it needs to be someone serious. That way, we have a 2, and God forbid injuries happen. We have some insurance. We have some clarity that wide receiver will be just fine, right? But again, I just don't know when that's going to happen. It's what they need to do, but that might not be till the trade deadline. Because from now till then, a lot can change. Players could be disgruntled. Players could request trades. Anything can happen between now and then. There's so much that could go on in the NFL.
So we're going to have to keep a watchful eye out for specifically the wide receiver position, like everybody really has when it comes to the waiver wire, free agency, and now, trade possibilities.
Oh, believe me, everyone's going to keep an eye when it comes to wide receiver in the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Any wide receiver that is available is going to be linked to the Steelers. I've already seen it. I've seen it all day, and I will continue to see it until the Steelers add somebody.
I know we're desperate, but it is kind of nauseating that we see so-and-so get released by so-and-so team, and then
Hunter Renfro's free. Sign him.
No.
Oh, Deontay Johnson, bring him back.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Like I get it. It's just, let's just calm down, okay? Until then, let's ride with Roman. Let's see what he can bring to the table.
Well, we're going to.
We will.
The Steelers are going to ride with Calvin. They're going to ride with especially Roman. And I'm rooting for him. I really am. A lot of us should, because if he can step up and prove his worth, then we have nothing to worry about. If he can continue his route running and make plays and get in the end zone and show some reliability at the position opposite DK, then Hakuna Matata at the wide receiver position. And that's all I really want, because the past number of years, it hasn't been Hakuna Matata.
No.
It's been very, very concerning.
Been a headache.
So here we are again, another year of running a very similar wide receiver situation with no move in sight. I truly don't know when they make a move at wide receiver. If it's anyone in free agency, it's just not the fix, not in my opinion. And in regards to trades, when's that going to happen? Who's that going to be?
The time frame could be just mere hours away, or it could be not anytime soon.
It could be 2-3 months from now, to be honest with you.
It's a patient thing.
It's going to have to be now. I mean, this is the roster we have. This is the situation that we're in. These are the options that we have in regards to free agency and the trade area, which, a lot of these, they could make a trade. I don't want to entirely rule it out. Now, I personally believe that a trade won't happen anytime soon, just because I don't think there's anyone truly available right now on the market. I don't think anyone that's requesting a trade or anyone that's putting names out there or rumors or reports or whatever, I just don't think any of that is realistic. But I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. I was wrong when I said that the Steelers aren't trading for DK. I was wrong when I said I don't think the Steelers are going to trade for DK. And what they do? 2 days later.
Caught me by surprise. And I had the mentality of, I'll believe it when I see it. After the whole Ayuk situation and whatnot, when it comes to wide receiver and Steelers trying to obtain one, it's just, I'll believe it when I see it mentality. And that's just how I'm going to approach this whole situation once again, until they finally make the move. When that is, we'll see.
We'll see, man. But until then, we're going to ride with, as far as I'm concerned, 5 wide receivers, and that mainly being DK, Roman, and Calvin. I'm hoping they can step up, because they're going to have to, especially a guy like Roman, and we're all rooting for him. We all should. With that being said, let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How do you guys feel about this wide receiver room? Are there any other names you guys want to throw out there in terms of options? And that's in regards to anywhere for the Steelers that they could potentially sign, trade, add in any way possible. Because we need it. We need it bad. like really bad.
And that's the only move that they should do at wide receiver is trade for one, and someone that's going to be a big factor on this team.
Someone that's going to fix the issue here that we've had the last 2 years.
No ifs, ands, or buts, and no scraps.
Yeah, no scraps.
No.
Let's not get too desperate where we got to trade, so little for just as much production.
You get what you pay for.
Exactly. You get what you pay for, and we don't know when any of that's going to happen. Let's just hope for the best at the wide receiver room up until then. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Follow us on the socials. They are down in the overlay below. Listen to us on Spotify. Links to all of that stuff, all that good stuff down in the description box below. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let us know your guys' thoughts and see you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!